Okay. So it looks like we're recording. So welcome everybody that can make it today to this brief Teams talk on the VisibleBody resource for anatomy self-study. As I mentioned before we started, I don't know what's going on with Firefox right now, but just when I got back from convocation, I tried to go to the VisibleBody resource in Firefox, and I was seeing this. So I'm not sure what's going on, why this is giving an Ovid error screen in Firefox, but thankfully I'm able to access it in Chrome. So if you go to look at this later, I would suggest just trying Chrome. And I'm going to troubleshoot why Firefox might not be working with the vendor later today. So we're talking about VisibleBody, and there's a couple different places you can find this. If you go to the LUCOM Medical Library page, underneath the databases dropdown, VisibleBody is the last resource. These are just commonly used popular resources. VisibleBody is at the bottom of that list, so you can access it from there. It's also in the research guide, which I've done a Teams talk on before about how we access resources in the research guide for everybody. And you can actually find it here under featured resources. It's the last resource there. It's also on the A to Z databases. Those are alphabetical, so you can find it there. So there's kind of some redundancy, but you can find it in a couple places. And when you click on the link to VisibleBody, you're taken to this. It's actually, I think it's a JavaScript app, how they built it. I'm not really sure. But you're taken to this VisibleBody main screen here for anatomy apps for VisibleBody, and our resource is in the Human Anatomy Atlas, which is actually like a link that you can click on here. And if you click on that, it'll take you to this screen where it says Launch Human Anatomy Atlas. So you'll click on that, and it actually launches an app that they built here for all the different ways we can access content in the resource. And it might take a little bit to load, but it should come up here in a second. It's taking a little longer to load than it usually does. I wonder if that's what's going on with the Firefox access as well. Okay. Sorry, this is taking a little longer than it should. They must be having some issues with Ovid or Wolters Kluwer. Okay, so I just want to talk about where things are. It's just a brief introduction to how you can access different views. First, I want to mention that there are different views that you can access that are actually organized here in categories. So there's skeletal views if you're just looking at bones and stuff. There's circulatory system views, nervous system, and respiratory system views. There's muscular system views down here, digestive. So you can kind of see how there's just difference. If you're looking at systems, you can actually look at the different anatomy models by systems. There's circulatory, nervous system, skeletal. I won't go through all of them, but you can see how these are organized here. Or we can look through regions. So if we're doing just head and neck or thorax, lumbar spine, cervical spine, any of these, we can actually look at that whole system. And what's kind of cool is when you look at these, you can pull layers off or put layers back on and how you access it. And all of these views are you're able to manipulate and look at it from a different angle. They're all 3D, so you can actually go through the whatever region or system you're looking at and manipulate the view however you want to look at it. If I can get back to my menu here. You can also organize, their systems and regions are right here. There's the gross anatomy lab that you have access to, and I guess this may be closely tied to how you're actually doing things in the anatomy lab. So maybe they're more along the lines of familiar with how you do things in the anatomy lab. There is media available in this resource, which can be kind of cool because there's microanatomy animations you can view. There we can see respiratory and circulation, how things are working, what's happening in the cells and tissues, nutrition and elimination you can see here, and there's some that are organized by system overviews like we were talking about early, but it's kind of cool because you can see animations of how things are actually working. And you'll see these are actually organized into 2 different categories. So there's patient education. So I guess if you wanted to, you could use this in a clinical setting and actually show your patients what you're talking about. But there are also advanced animations for musculoskeletal, respiratory, and urinary. And so these can be kind of useful. There's actually some animations in here that I think are interesting personally. Paired muscle actions, bone and skeletal muscles. You can actually see how muscles are moving the skeletal system and things like that. So that's just some of the stuff that's available here under media. There are quizzes. I know questions a lot of times are popular with students. They want to have access to question banks. So there's quizzes in this resource that you can actually test yourself with different systems: circulatory system, digestive system, muscular system. You'll see here nervous system, reproductive. So you can actually quiz yourself, test yourself based on these different systems or regions. There's also, from this link for quizzes, you'll find lab activities. So we have a heart section, pulmonary circulation, eye and ear, that would line up with the different kinds of things you're going to be doing in the anatomy lab. So that's something that's available to you. I mentioned the gross anatomy lab. There's also cross sections available. So you can actually, almost like you're looking at, I guess this is like an MRI sort of, that you're looking through different regions and systems: thorax, abdomen, pelvis. So that might be a useful thing for you as you're going through anatomy study. There's also microanatomy. I don't know how much our anatomy labs or classes go through microanatomy, but this can be a useful resource that you can see for different regions or systems. We have eye, ear, inner ear, cochlea, hair follicle, and what that looks like at a microanatomy level that you have access to. Here it is. Here's the muscle actions that I think are so cool. So this is separate from what necessarily was in the media, but you can see how the jaw, how the mandible works with those muscles, your shoulder flexion, forearm pronation. It's just kind of neat. You can actually see, here's elbow flexion, I think it was, extension. So you can see that tricep muscle, what it's actually doing throughout that movement. And it's kind of cool because it'll link to related content up here that you can access to. So if you're looking at other things related to elbow flexion or the muscle action of the tricep, you can find related content here. Excuse me, elbow extension, that was called. So that's just some of the things that are available from the views and the media. I mentioned the quizzes that you have access to. If you create an account, which is free to do, it'll be associated with your Liberty Access. You can actually save content for later, and you can save note cards and things like that. So then you'll be able to actually log into the resource with your own login that you created and look at your saved content. So that's something that's available here. I wasn't sure. I debated about how to actually show this. I couldn't think of a good way, but there's actually an app for this resource that you can put on your iPhone or your Google Android phone. And what's really cool is that there's actually all the resources that are available in the regular VisibleBody here on the web browser are also available on the app. But something additional that they have is actually an augmented reality function. And there's a particular way that you can actually install that app onto your phone. You have to go through the link for VisibleBody that's on the library page and find the link to your App Store or your Google Play Store to download that app to your phone. And I wish there was some way I was going to take a screenshot of my phone and try to put that on here so you can see it. But really, I guess my best suggestion is that if that is something that you are interested in, please feel free to come by the library and I'll show you exactly how to put the app on your phone, how to work the different features within the app, and also try to show you that augmented reality feature, which is really cool. You can actually, with that feature, you can find any flat surface. I was doing it on my desk in here a while ago, where you actually say, this is my surface, and you tap something and it'll put basically like a 3D cadaver on that surface. And as you move your device or your phone around, you'll see the different sections 3D, like as if it were on the table in front of you. And you can kind of almost do like a 3D dissection where you take layers away, put layers back, and move your phone around to see all the different views. that you can access that content with through the augmented reality. So it's a really cool feature. I'm sorry I don't have a way, I couldn't think of a way to actually show that to you on my phone because I'm doing this team session through my computer, through my laptop, but I would strongly encourage you, if you're interested in that, please stop by the library. I'd be happy to show you how you can use the app on your phone. So that's mostly what I wanted to show. Just kind of a brief introduction to what all is available here. Again, we don't have the, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already since the recording, but we don't have the Winking Skull Pro anatomy study tool anymore. Team had discontinued that resource. So VisibleBody is our main 3D anatomy study tool. I think it's pretty powerful and it can be really useful to go along with your anatomy labs and your anatomy courses that are going to be coming up in a couple weeks. So I appreciate you guys, your time. I'm going to record this, so I'm going to put a link to the recording and onto the research guide. So if for people that weren't able to attend, they'll be able to view it later. And if you forgot something that I talked about or wanted to go back and find something I mentioned before that that you forgot about,